were a bit naughty this year and they swarmed twice. Were quite angry bees this year and gave me several stings while I was working with them. You can hear the bird song and see the hills. A couple of deep breaths and, you know, any hardships melt away. Hello and welcome to my garden and the dinosaurs who live there. We're on Sunday the 22nd of October and we had a little bit of frost last night, but we now have a lovely, bright, sunny, albeit cold day. So I'm out in the garden having a look to see what it looks like after we had a few days of storms this week, and then the previous weekend we had some days of frost. So certainly the garden will have been affected by that. But I thought it'd be good to do a garden tour and let you see what the garden's looking like now in mid-October. And I thought I could also have a little chat about what I'm going to be doing over the winter in the various areas of the garden into the new year to give me, you know, a tidier garden, a more productive garden, and a more colourful garden. So come on and let me show you around and show you what it's like just now and have a little chat about what I am going to be doing. Okay, this is us looking at the top 6th, maybe top 8th of the garden. Don't judge me, it looks a mess, doesn't it? But Rome wasn't built in a day, and this is only us just into our 2nd year here, and that's my excuse anyway, and there's lots to be done. But we did have a lot of colour up here. We have a few beds up here that we produced some nice veg in, and you can see in the middle there the beehive, and we actually got our first honey this year as well. So I'm pleased overall with what I got from this area, but I do want to make it a bit more structured and a bit tidier. I just put things in pots up here because I wasn't sure what I was going to do with this area. But let me take you around and show you in a bit more detail what we have here and give you my thoughts on what I would like to do. So at the back gate here, we had a really nice hosta corner. You can see I've got 3 pots there. The hostas are dying back or have died back. And they will come back next year. What I'll do is once the foliage dies back a little bit more, I'll remove it all, I'll mulch these pots, and they will be lovely and cosy over the winter and come back in the spring even bigger and better than ever. The little hanging baskets here, there are some hostas in here, but there are some weeds also. So there's a nice hosta there that's just going back. That was actually a begonia, which I'll take out and store the tuber over winter. Another hosta with some weeds and another hosta with some weeds. So they did okay. I might bring those hostas out now into bigger pots and use the hanging baskets for something else because they're actually a bit big now, and it's hard in the hot weather. If you can remember what the hot weather was like, it's difficult in the hot weather to keep them moist. I have let this go a little bit, and the ground maintenance crew, aka the chickens, have let me down in this area. Although if I start pulling out these weeds, they'll be up in a flash and start helping me to dig. So we'll get that sorted out as well, and just tidy up the border. This is a view back down the garden from here, and it is lovely. I mean, we have got the chicken runs and things, but you're just looking around. You can hear the bird song and see the hills. A couple of deep breaths and, you know, any hardships melt away. If I swing around now, you can see some overgrown vegetation and the beehive in there. So still a single beehive. The bees were a bit naughty this year and they swarmed twice. Were quite angry bees this year and gave me several stings while I was working with them. But hopefully they'll calm down and be better in the spring. But we did get our first honey from the bees, just 4 frames worth of honey, which gave me about six or 7.5 pound pots and a few little dinky pots as well. So that was exciting. And we've got a lot of overgrown foliage here because while the bees are active, it's hard to sort of cut this back unless I put on my bee suit because they'll come and get me. So I'll get this cut back in the over the winter time while the bees are ensconced in their little house, in their hive. Down here, this was a great little bed, little metal bed. I got 4 of these. I've got a video about the beds and building them. Actually, I love them, they're great. And you can see I've still got some spring onion in there, and actually earlier on in the week, in the back bit there, I planted some garlic. Again, there's a video on that. I'll try and remember and pop at the end of this video. So, and then previous to this, I had lots of lettuce in here as well. So it was a great bed. It's a great bed. Quite pleased with that. And if I just swing around, swing around, swing around. Here's another little metal bed. And this was my sweet pea teepee. So I had a teepee up here and I grew my sweet peas up it. And I've put my elephant garlic in here now. Excuse the strewn pots and things. So yeah, elephant garlic in there, and hopefully that will come on over the winter and spring, in particular the spring, and then into the summer, and we'll get some lovely elephant garlic. I do have that mesh on it. It's not to keep pests out, it's to keep the chickens off. Because I did lose one entire harvest of elephant garlic a couple of years ago because one of the chickens went in and scythed the tops off all my elephant garlic. Okay, here we are at the other side of the top area, and you can see there's loads of weeds and grass and nettles and all sorts here. This will need to get cut back. This area had a couple of trees in it when we first moved in, and the trees came, we got the trees taken down, and the empty area here was where I had all my potato pots. So that was great. The potatoes kept the weeds at bay. And again, another couple of the little metal beds were okay. I've still got some celery in here. I've not harvested any of this celery yet, actually. So I am going to harvest some later today. I'm going to be making some soup. And we've got some lovely dill. It's dried off now though, but aren't the dill seed heads lovely? Also in here I had a very large, and it shouldn't have been in here because it could have taken up the whole bed, a very large courgette called Verde de Milano, I think, and it gave me loads of courgettes. I'm going to try and remember to grow that again next year. It was very prolific. And I know you might think, oh, courgette, very prolific. Aren't they all? But this, I was really impressed with it. I could probably get away with growing that and one other, and that would have given me more than enough courgettes to last all the way through the year, or the growing year anyway. This bed here, I sort of threw things in. This was a sort of, let's just get things in that are spare. I still have, actually, looking in here, a couple of nice sweets. Have I got 3? Yeah, there's another little one down there as well. I've been great with Swedes this year. I've been lucky. My Swedes have been growing really, really well. These 2 are looking quite nice, actually. Not too huge. I've had a couple that are a bit big. It takes a lot of eating. So Swedes have been good. The cosmos there was okay. It was nice and colourful, and then obviously it's blown over. I've got some more dill, again, blown over. And I've got, I don't know what that is. Is that a leek? Some random sitting in there. And I had, what else did I have in there? I think I had a tomato plant in there, which was okay. Oh, I had some peas as well. I had some peas growing up that little dinky trellis there, which was okay. Back here is just a nightmare. It always has been. There's loads and loads of ivy there. And then cleavers, or sticky willy as we call it, was covering that. That's what all the dried stuff is. It was covering that all the way through the summer. So one of my big tasks, if I can do it myself, I will. I might have to get someone in to help, is to get all of this cleared. And it's a big task because you know what ivy's like, and there's loads of ivy. Loads and loads and loads. But I would love to get that cleared. And in this area, whoops, I'm just about to trip over a tree stump. In this area, I'm thinking I'm going to remove those 2 beds and move them somewhere else. And I'm thinking I might try to get some fruit trees, some dwarf stock, maybe a couple of apples, a couple of plums, and get them in here. I think that would be nice up at this point, and there's lots of sunshine up at this part of the garden. Any thoughts on anything else? I mean, I could potentially, if I do get that stuff at the back cut back, I could potentially get some soft fruit along there. We're in a bit of a dip. The ground's a wee bit higher there, and then we dip down. It's not particularly wet here though, although when we get really bad rain, from underneath that bed there's actually a little stream that happens, because I think the rain comes up off the hill, and it's underground, and then it pops up here, and then I have to dig a little trench to take it down the garden. I'll show you that. Only like 2 or 3 times a year, and it only lasts overnight really, but you can see I've dug this little trench. If I remember, I'll put in a little clip of what it was like the other day, and it then just, you know, I dig the trench a wee bit, and then it just sort of dissipates down the slope there. So yeah, any thoughts on anything else I can do in this area? It does pretty much get full sun, so it would be a shame to not utilise it. It's just this. Maybe what I should do to make my life easier is just to tarp it all, to put black, you know, weed suppressant fabric on it. I'll strim it or do whatever to get as much up as possible. Maybe dig up some of these thistles and such like, but then I could perhaps just put black plastic on it. I don't know what that would do with the ivy though, because you know, ivy just seems to pop up everywhere. I wonder if I could do that, because I tell you, it's going to be back-breaking, soul-destroying work trying to dig all this up. Yeah, please tell me your thoughts on this. The other thing I'm probably going to do is to expand this area here, and so that I've got space for another beehive. I would potentially like to have another beehive here, so I may well do that, although I don't want to do it if my bees are arrogant little so-and-sos, because over the fence there we do have to do some maintenance, strimming and such like, and a couple of my neighbours were chased by the girls one summer's day, and stung, in fact. So I just need to be a bit careful, but I might just get a nice colony of quiet bees and pop that into the other hive. I don't know, we'll see. So maybe another hive there. My bee tribulations there. Maybe another hive there, and then this area for this bit here for fruit trees, and then maybe some soft fruits around the edge. Although I suppose I could have now what do you call it? I could grow the fruit against the fence there, like the apples or whatever. Although that's south, so they're sort of on a wall, a fence away from the sun, so maybe that's not a good idea. Anyway, I'm babbling on, but lots of potential in this area. A couple of pots of spinach there. That is coping admirably with the weather. This was sort of late on crop of jaguar peas, which was great. I had a little TP up here and I got some nice peas from that. Of course, swing seat. I would love to have a sort of decking built and a nice wooden canopy over this. We'll see. And then we can remove this scabby canopy that keeps getting blown in the wind and kept, holding on to water if we had something rainproof above it. So that's something I would love to do, but that's a luxury rather than a necessity. Well, most of the stuff in the garden is, I suppose. But yeah, we'll see. And if I just move over, so this area here, the girls love rooting about here and digging dust baths and whatever. So I don't want to manicure it in any shape or form, really, because we sit there off a summer's day, or even a not summer's day, and we watch the chickens, because the chicken run is here. Excuse the tubs on the floor there, they've just had some scrambled egg. So they were in that tub, so they ransacked it and now they've run back in to chill out. Yeah, so we like sitting on the swing seat and watching the chickens, maybe giving them some grapes or some treats or whatever. And so this area here, we love them just to be able to mooch about in. But here, at this area, I did have lots of pots. I had pots of dahlias. We've got a hydrangea there that was gifted to me, and some other pots of bits and pieces. You can see here we've got some spinach. And this is their little salad bar. They can get in through the gaps there in the cloche, but they can't ransack this. So sometimes they'll just peck in there, and as it grows bigger, they get more opportunity to help themselves. But this area here, I would like to make into some sort of flower bed so that I can put my dahlias in there in a bed, and maybe have some bedding plants or whatever else in there as well. So that's what I'd like to do. There is a bit of a slope here. And actually working out what the border is going to be is the thing that's most challenging for me. I don't really want the chickens in digging about, although if I do have dahlias and sort of larger plants in there, I can just put some little, these things here to protect the dahlias, and they can still be in the beds digging about, because I don't mind that at all. So yeah, I'll have something here, I think, for my larger flowering perennial plants, I think. Then looking over at the old sweet pea teepee, which is now my elephant garlic, I have these 2 pallets that are destined to become part of a log store further down the garden. And I think the 2 metal beds over there I'll bring here. Again, we're on a bit of a slope, so I'll need to work out how to do that neatly, and so that I might have to dig them in a bit. But anyway, yes, yeah, so I'll probably have 3 in a row, or maybe 1, 2, 3 for the metal beds, or maybe even just have 1 metal bed there and have another one somewhere else. We'll see. But yeah, and they will be sort of veg beds. And if I turn around now and look down the garden, we've got the little chicken run there and the big chicken run there. I planted notionally Christmas potatoes, which have been out here even during the frost, so I'm sure they're going to die off shortly. But actually I have got a shed full of potatoes, so I've got loads of potatoes, but I just sort of felt I wanted to have a wee shot at this, but I've never been very successful. My plan was to pop them in the polytunnel, but the polytunnel still is needing cleared out of some of the tomato plants and pepper plants and things that are in there. So yeah, I'm just leaving them, letting them grow as much as possible to see if I can get some little rinky-dinky ones. I think we've got Charlotte. Oh no, it's Maris Peer. Both of them are Maris Peer. I did have a Charlotte, but it just didn't do well at all. So we'll see if I get anything. And then here we had a bed that I'd put in some new peonies. They didn't flower this year, but they did grow. And then I'd put in a variety of little flowers, not any sort of thought to it really. But I had loads of nice nasturtiums. We had some anemones, a variety of bits and pieces, I think, and then lots of cosmos. But the cosmos is taking ages to come up, and it's now just going past its best, and some of it has fallen over in the high winds that we had. So this bed is just going to get a real clear out. I'll leave the peonies in here. I think there's 3 of them. You can just see one in the middle there. So I'll leave the peonies, and then I'll maybe be a bit more structured in what I plant in here in the springtime. And I'm sure there's going to be nasturtiums coming back because they will self-seed and come back year after year. This little area I cleared, put some weed suppressant fabric down so that it's got some clear space, and I had the most wonderful Oregon sugar snap, Oregon Monge 2 in there. I must grow lots of them again. They were gorgeous, absolutely so sweet. And then in this one I had a lovely big mound of white, just like that one, although it's tiny and dying off now, but a big mound of white cosmos that was sort of more dwarf variety, and that was gorgeous. And I can't remember what I had in that. Oh, I had Rudbeckia in that one. But they're all out now, and I've now got, as you can see, garlic in there, Carcassonne. This is garlic I bought in this year. This is my anti-chicken device. Need to get one on there because I'll get in there and dig about. And then I've got a spare Brussels sprout here that you can see. I've got little dinky Brussels sprouts, but it's tiny, so we won't get that much. And here's some Astrantia. Astrantia does well for me, but yeah, it's just sort of tucked in the back there, and I didn't really do anything to it this year. But that's fine, it's in that bed and it will come back year on year. This is a buddleia that was here. I didn't know it was here, and then it sort of grew and it flowered, and it was great for the butterflies and the bees, so that's fine. And then at the back of the shed, oh, here we have the dumping ground for wire and polycarbonate and bits and pieces. And my lovely shed. Okay, looking down the garden then, on the right hand side, sort of grass, and then there's a number of little round beds that I made. We've still got a bit of colour here, although everything's flopping over. So if we have a look, well, I've got some pots here, that's some oregano, and then we've got some pots of carrots. Then we've got this Rudbeckia. Rudbeckia is great for late summer, early autumn flowering, but you can see they have flopped because of the high winds. They were flopping over that way, so I'd supported them that way, and then the winds came and battered them that way. So they're still there, but they'll be getting cut back shortly. And then the snapdragons in the next one again, doing well. Well done, snapdragons. And then we can see I need to do a little bit of cutting off that grass, just the long stuff. And I had, what do I have in here? I had some sort of flower in here, and then I popped in some beetroot. And it is quite nice beetroot. There's a little one there. So there's just a couple in here. There's another one. That'll harvest. I put some additional chicken protection here because they were eating the beetroot tops. But that'll come off, and then we'll tidy up around here. Calendula, we had lovely calendula here, but again it is dying back. And then here I bought these in relatively recently, and it's these guys here, the leucanthemum, and they are a perennial. I've popped them in here to sort of sit the winter out. They might not stay here, but they might. And then this one's empty. This is another one. Now I've made up these beds just with, I just literally put cardboard down and then topped up with compost, and then put these round to stop the chickens digging at all. It's not the most picturesque, so I'm thinking of getting, I don't know, log roll or something to give me round beds here. And this had loads and loads, the reason this is all dug up, it had loads of perennial cornflowers. I've relocated some and I've just dug some out because there was so many. They were just getting in the way, which sounds terrible, but yeah, I did. So what am I going to do here next year? My thoughts are, for most of these beds, I want to get like a cottage garden flower display. So a mishmash of things like hollyhocks and calendula and maybe verbascum and little cornflowers and things. So little cottagey flowers, or some of them tall cottagey flowers, and have a mishmash in them all going up. I think that would look lovely. Yeah, so we'll see. I'll do a bit more research, but I've got some seeds bought already, and others I will buy in as necessary. So again, thoughts on the types of flowers I could have to have a nice sort of cottagey feel in each of these little circular beds on the way up here. That would be wonderful to hear what you think. Now on this side of the path, what can I say? Starting up at the top, we've got the new shed there, then a sort of store next to it. Then we've got the wood store. This is the wonky wood store that was already here, and I had to tarp the top to stop it, get the rain getting in from the top. You'll see I'm getting low on wood supplies because we started using the wood burner. I put some weed suppressant fabric down here and just put some wood chip that I was given by the local tree surgeon. I put that down there, and I put, rather precariously balanced because it's not level, my wooden furniture that really should have had a paint this year but didn't. But the remnants, not really remnants, that was full of lovely lettuce, that kitchen bowl, and that one was full of lovely lettuce, and that was some lovely marigolds. So again, just tidying up. And that's a little birdhouse that I've not put together yet, a bird feeder. Then here, oh God, there's lovely wood under there from one of the trees that came down, but the sort of discs of trunk that are just too big for me to manage. I did inherit a chainsaw when I bought the house, but there's something a bit wrong with it, and the chain keeps flopping. Not the chain, the actual whole thing that holds the chain on keeps flopping. There's a pin missing. So I need to either try and get that fixed or get myself a new chainsaw. That sounds dangerous. Or have someone help me just to, even if we could half the discs that are in here. I've got a hydraulic log splitter that I could put those half discs on, and then that would be me away. I could get everything cut. I can't access it at the moment because there's blooming brambles and all sorts growing in here. So yeah, that could be a winter task. I really need to, because it's really good wood and needed for my log burner. Here we have my nice raised bed that had just 4 strawberry plants, but we've now got multiples there. We'll need to get that tidied up. I've taken some runners, etc. And we've still got a couple of spring onions here. So I don't know what I'm going to have in here next year, whether I'll keep some strawberries in here. It's nice because they're raised off the ground and it keeps the chickens off them. I might do that actually. I might just I'll sort of tidy it up and have this as one strawberry bed. I've got, I'll need more. And then at the back there with the tarpaulin over, that's another little log pile. I didn't manage to get my pallet log house built. Another project for over the winter. I have the pallets, I just haven't built it yet, and I couldn't get in here for a while because the squash from this bed were covering that as well. So yeah, another project there. Squash bed, one of my great successes this year. My first time ever growing squash. 6 foot by 6 foot bed. Ignore these cloches, they're just sitting on there to get them out of the way. But the squash, the plants themselves just spread themselves all over here, and I got some lovely squash. Have a look back at my recent videos, you'll see some videos talking about my squash harvests. So I've got lots of squash to store and to use over the coming months. I don't think I'm going to do anything in this bed over winter. I think I'm just going to top it up. Maybe I'll bung some cardboard on top of it, and then some more compost or something on top of it. Or will I do some? Am I too late to put ground cover on that? green manure, sorry, I should be saying. I don't know, am I too late to get green manure sown in there? Now it's cold. Will it actually germinate? Probably not. So I've got spare cardboard. I might just pop some cardboard on that to keep any bug weeds at bay, top up with some compost and then let it sit over the winter time, and it's going to be my squash bed again next year. I'm really pleased with this growing area because this was just all overgrown when I first moved in, and there was a lot of digging and pickaxing and you name it to actually clear this into a growing area, and I'm really pleased with it. This was where I had my onions and garlic, and I was very pleased with the harvests. This is going to be a little brassica, overwintering brassica cage. I have got some, what have I got? Some cabbage and cauliflower growing at the moment, but they're tiny, they're too small for putting in here. So I had put in instead, or in the meantime, I'd put in this kohlrabi. But I don't know whether you can see, when I put this in, I said, oh, I've not had any slug problems, but actually they've been annihilated. I have just left them, I've not done anything. A couple of them might survive, I doubt it. They'll probably just have to be pulled out. So I'm kicking myself a bit, because they were, nice healthy plants, albeit a little small. I can see I've got a few, I'll call them weeds, but I think that in the corner is that perennial cornflower coming back. These are weeds down here probably, or maybe they're plants, who knows. That's my parsnips. They've been in for ages. I harvested one yesterday, they're looking good. I'll see if I can have one for Christmas dinner. Oh, sorry, the sun's in the way. I'll move over here. Here's my brassica bed. I've had swede out of this. I've had calabrese, and you can see I've got some nice Brussels sprouts. I harvested some of those yesterday, and then a couple of big purple sprouting broccoli that I had to sort of prop back up because it got blown down in the wind. The rhubarb was fantastic this year. That's been in before I came here. It's a really big big plant, so I got lots of pickings off that this year. Then we've just got some random pots of leeks because I didn't actually have anywhere for the leeks. Strawberry bed. I don't think that will be my strawberry bed this year. I'm going to move them somewhere. Haven't decided where yet. The middle bed here, I could have done better with it, but it really did quite well. We've got some beetroot there. We've got some chard at the left-hand side, and actually that's some spinach in the middle that I just plonked in fairly recently. We'll see how that gets on. I'll need to have a think about what I'm going to put in this bed. Maybe that could become part of my strawberry bed. The reason I don't like the strawberry bed over there is that it doesn't get quite as much sun as the rest of this part of the garden. So maybe I could put some strawberries in here. It's a good bed though. Do I want to just have strawberries in it? Who knows? I'll think about that one. This was one of the pea beds where I had Hurst green shaft peas growing, and they were mighty successful. Really pleased with those. The chickens have been in just helping me to look after that recently. And as I move round to the polytunnel, I won't take you into the polytunnel. It's just dying off tomatoes and pepper plants and cucumber plants. Everything's harvested from there now. I'm just going to tidy it out and overwinter some things in there. And then we have my raspberries. So there's mostly summer, but there's one lot of autumn fruiting raspberries. We can see we've got a few here. It's the first year for these plants, and to be fair, the raspberries were few and far between, but they did taste quite nice when I got them before the chickens did. Okay, I'm aware I've been babbling on. Let's just talk about this bed before I finish. This is my tulip bed. Hopefully we'll get lots of nice tulips in the springtime. And then I plopped in some white scalloped squash, and I got some lovely little patty pan-esque squash. But they were doing great, and then last weekend when we got the frosts, oh, they just melted overnight just about. You can see some of the little babies that were still coming. So yeah, I'll tidy up this bed and pop some more compost on it, and then hopefully we'll get some nice, lovely loads of tulips in the springtime. Well, I hope you enjoyed that look around the garden, and I would love to hear your comments and responses to my questions through this video. It'd be great to get some feedback into the sorts of things that I can do in various parts of the garden. It's going to be some hard work again this winter, when the ground isn't frozen anyway, and into the springtime, so that I can get some more growing space and more areas for flowers, etc. But it's really, really exciting, and I'm happy with what I've achieved in the first year. But yeah, lots more scope for doing more. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed and you like my content, it would be great if you would subscribe to keep abreast of the videos that I'm sending out. And if you click the little bell, you'll get alerted every time I do release a new video. But for now, I will say bye-bye.